the Jumble Sale. One winter's day, Minnie Mouse and Daisy Duck found themselves volunteering at a bustling jumble sale. The hall was filled with all sorts of interesting items, and the air was thick with the excitement of bargain hunters. Daisy, with her ever-positive attitude, had set up a stall overflowing with colorful woolly jumpers, thick scarves, and knitted hats. She stood proudly behind her stall, smiling at the steady stream of customers eager to escape the cold. Minnie, on the other hand, had her stall on the opposite side of the room. It was filled with a rather unusual assortment of items: old tennis rackets, mismatched shoes, a couple of dusty tennis balls, and even a few out-of-place tennis nets. Minnie looked at her stall, feeling a bit discouraged. "No one will want these," she muttered to herself, picking up an old racket and inspecting it. "Who wants tennis rackets in the middle of winter?" Daisy, noticing her friend's gloomy mood, chuckled softly. "You'll never get rid of those, Minnie," she said with a friendly, teasing smile. "Who needs tennis rackets when the weather is freezing cold and everyone's looking for warm clothes?" Minnie sighed and nodded. Daisy was right, of course. Her stall was practically empty, while Daisy's pile of woolly jumpers and scarves was steadily shrinking as customers eagerly snatched them up. With each sale, Daisy's smile grew bigger. She was in her element. As the doors to the Jumble Sale opened wide, a great crowd surged in, eager to find their winter essentials. The atmosphere was electric, full of chatter and the clinking sound of coins and notes being exchanged for goods. Daisy's stall quickly became a hub of activity as people grabbed scarves and woolly jumpers, all keen to ward off the chill of the winter air. "Roll up, folks," Minnie called out cheerfully, trying to catch people's attention. "Buy my super tennis rackets, no broken strings." She raised her voice, attempting to make her offerings sound as exciting as possible, but the crowd was already captivated by Daisy's stall. "And I want a pair of earmuffs," grunted Horace, shivering slightly as he passed by. Minnie stood at her stall, smiling weakly and hoping someone would at least take a passing interest in her collection of tennis rackets. But the people kept walking past, too busy with Daisy's cozy knitted goods. Meanwhile, Daisy stood at her stall, practically counting her earnings. "Listen to that, Minnie," she cried happily, shaking the tin with her money. "Haven't I done well? These woolies are flying off the shelves." Poor Minnie, standing all alone, looked down at her empty tin. Not a single person had even paused to look at her tennis rackets. She sighed deeply, feeling a little deflated. She wished she had something more practical to sell, like scarves or blankets. Just then, the door swung open with a gust of chilly wind, and in blustered Goofy, shaking snow from his fur. He was panting slightly, as though he had walked quite a distance through the snowstorm outside. "It's getting thicker and thicker, Minnie," Goofy said, his big ears flopping with every step. "I keep sinking into the drifts." Minnie smiled at Goofy, always a good friend, but as she glanced at the snow falling outside, she wondered how much longer the Jumble Sale would last. Just then, Goofy's eyes brightened as they fell upon the tennis rackets on Minnie's stall. With surprising energy, he swooped in and grabbed 2 of the old rackets. "Whoopee, these are just what I need," Goofy exclaimed, raising the rackets above his head in triumph. Minnie blinked in surprise. "Why do you want them, Goofy?" she asked, puzzled. "They're for playing summer games, not for snow." Double quotes. Goofy grinned mischievously and reached into his coat pocket. He pulled out a large ball of thick string. "Come and see," he giggled, his eyes twinkling with excitement. Minnie followed Goofy outside the door of the hall, the cold air biting at her cheeks. Goofy expertly began to tie the tennis rackets to the soles of his shoes with the string. "Shucks," he said proudly, finishing his makeshift snowshoes. "These tennis rackets make great snowshoes. Now I shan't slip into any more snowdrifts." He gave a little hop and then, with a delighted shout, started sliding across the snow, the rackets providing just the right balance for him to glide over the surface. Minnie watched in amazement, her heart lifting. "Good old Goofy," she beamed. "Thanks to him, I've sold something." Minnie's shoulders slumped a little, but she couldn't help smiling as she watched Goofy zooming around outside in his homemade snowshoes. "Well, at least Goofy is happy," she thought, feeling a little better. The jumble sale might not have gone as she'd hoped, but she had sold at least one thing and, more importantly, Goofy had made a new winter adventure of his own perhaps. Minnie thought with a laugh she'd bring out more tennis rackets next winter. After all, you never knew when a pair of snowshoes could come in handy.